Same podcast, different location. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, slightly different setup this week.
Yeah, we're doing this remotely. Before we address that elephant in the room, I do want to bring this up because last week we were talking about DMX and Jet Li in Cradle to the Grave, and I realized that I haven't seen Cradle to the Grave.
What? So what movie were you thinking of?
All right, so this is the fucking crazy thing. So there's DMX and Jet Li are in two movies within 2 years of each other in the 2000s. There's a movie called Romeo Must Die from 2000 or 2001, and Cradle to the Grave is like 2003. And that was the movie I was thinking of when I was talking about that ending fight scene where the guys are kicking each other in the neck and shit.
I'm like, man, I don't remember this.
Exactly. So after that podcast, I went and Googled that last fight scene because we were talking about it. I'm like, oh, fuck, I should check this out. And I Googled Cradle to the Grave ending fight. I'm like, I've never seen this in my entire life.
So did you end up watching Cradle to the Grave?
No, still haven't watched it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, still haven't watched it. Yeah, I'm like, did I completely hallucinate that DMX and Jet Li were in a movie? So then I started Googling like Jet Li movies because he was for sure in it. And then in 2000, Romeo Must Die and DMX is in it. So it's like,
that's wild. I remember the name of that movie, Romeo Must Die, but that's not one of the first ones that come to my head. I don't think I've seen that one.
I'll bet you I've probably seen that movie. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I was going to say I've watched Cradle to the Grave like 20 times. Like, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I got to watch it because I haven't seen it at all.
It's like a good bad movie.
Romeo Must Die. Yeah, I remember this Romeo Must Die. I probably saw it like half a dozen times because you had like Movie Network back in the day. Yeah. And it was on there all the time, right? Yeah. So that's where I watched it all the time.
That's fun.
Terrible movie. Terrible movie.
I think that's what goes for a lot of fucking movies. Yeah.
Some of my favorite movies are terrible, to be fair. I can't really talk about shit.
I know a lot of people that hate fucking Step Brothers, and that is literally all-time favorite.
Yeah, I'm with you. But then there's bad movies that I'm like, I don't know how people watch that. Like I think we spoke about this before. Like, there's another Fast and Furious movie coming out.
Oh, I can't wait.
And again, I know. Like, there you go. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And
another one.
Keep it coming.
Yeah,
I can't wait for Fast 28.
Yeah, I'll watch that one too. It's gonna be Vin Diesel's kid.
Eventually, there'll be more Fast and Furious movies than there are 2 season of Pods episodes. They're just gonna outnumber
100%, us. Yeah, 100%.
There's no way around it.
No, there isn't. They're gonna catch up soon. They're gonna be putting one out every fucking twice a week.
They might as well.
I don't know why they haven't already. Come on, it can't be that much work.
COVID must have put a damper on this. They probably would have had 3 movies come out by now, if not for COVID.
Yeah, I think it's delayed at least a year. Maybe
has to be.
I think so.
Well, is that movie coming out this year? I know that it's
it's coming out like next month, May.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think so.
They're taking a risk, I guess. That. Well, I guess in the States,
you kind of have to.
A lot of
release.
A lot of people can. Yeah, like I guess in the States, a lot of people can go to movie theaters. So
true.
Whereas we seem to be going backwards here. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, elephant in the room. Why are we in 2 different locations? That is because I currently have COVID-19.
Yeah, Chris got the virus.
I have joined the ranks of the weak. Yes. I am a diminished citizen. I am scarred. I am a leper. I am all of the bad things that you think I am.
Oh my god. But how are you, like, you're feeling like okay?
I feel completely fine, for the most part. It's the way that I have been describing it is I felt like I had a sinus infection with a low fever. And that low fever only lasted like 36 hours. And I've been like, I'm just been kind of congested in my sinuses.
And you can't taste.
That's it. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I can't smell and taste anything.
You can't smell either, right?
Nothing. It's so weird.
So Chris texted me the other night. Was it last night?
I think it was Friday.
The night. Yeah, so Friday, a couple nights ago.
This is Sunday. This is for people.
I guess you were making sure you still had your senses, like you could taste and smell or whatever. He goes, I just gargled wild turkey like it was nothing. No taste whatsoever. I'm like, Jesus, dude.
So just so people, I'm sure people are wondering, how did I get it? Was I irresponsible? No, fuck you. Weirdly enough, they talk about on the
news, you can get it from a giant rooftop pool party.
Apparently, but I didn't get it from that.
I'm only joking.
It'd be a much cooler story. I got it from my mother-in-law, of all people. So when you watch the news or you hear all the COVID hype and propaganda about how people get it and who it's going to kill, it's always young people are going to give it to old people. But fuck you.
Vice versa.
Old people are giving it to young people. And this is a problem. We need to talk about this more, society. We need to fucking shun these old people who go around giving it to the young and healthy.
Yeah, especially these guys that are getting their vaccines thinking they can fucking do whatever the hell they want again.
Absolutely not. You're never allowed to do anything ever again. That's the rules now. Fuck you.
Well, like,
we have to live it with COVID forever now.
We will.
I don't believe that, by the way.
But
we will. Yeah, we will be living with it.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's not like we killed the virus. We're just giving people vaccines so we're like immune to it and can deal with it.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I'm happy about is I got the antibodies. I guess that's a plus side.
Yeah, I guess.
So, but what you shouldn't do when you're in my situation is when you say you have the antibodies, tell people that, oh, no, I don't have to get the vaccine. Because when you say that, people's heads seem to fucking explode. You don't have to get the vaccine. Shut the fuck up. I'm fine. That's what the vaccine does. Gives you the antibodies. Grow up.
Oh my God.
Also, by the way, just a disclaimer for anyone that's listening. If you thought COVID was going to make me shut the fuck up more about it, it's just emboldened me.
How did I know that was going to happen?
A lot of these are jokes, people, so don't get too sensitive. But
you know damn well if someone hears this, they're getting real sensitive.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm just fucking around. Like, fuck. There's no point being upset about it.
No. It's not like you can go back and do anything different.
Here is my honest take on COVID. It is exactly what I thought it was. I didn't think it was worth being worried about. And it turns out that it wasn't worth being worried about. For the vast majority of people, and by vast majority, I mean 99.9% of people. Mm-hmm. But that's me. I'm not a fucking doctor. Obviously, we've mentioned that a million times.
Wait,
but that's my take.
You're not a gynecologist?
Nope, not at all.
Weird.
And my mother-in-law is just about 60, and she passed it on to us. And now my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my wife, who is pregnant, unfortunately, we all have it. But only me and my mother-in-law showed symptoms, and my brother-in-law and father-in-law have very minor symptoms that started today, a week after. So everybody's healthy on this end, which is the main thing.
Yeah, that's good. At least your symptoms aren't too bad, but it is still fucking crazy out there.
Apparently.
Do you want to read the post? Do you have the post up?
Yeah, I guess we can get into it now.
I was just going to say, if let's bang this out and then.
Yeah, let's get through we are going to talk a little bit about
since we're already on COVID.
Yeah, we're on the topic. It is the topic of our discussion right now, but so I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can chime in because I'm sure you have
I've got
much
some
more
other shit, that I want to talk about.
Yeah, you got more than I do, but I saw this the other day, and it's from our good friend Audrey, CJ's wife, and she is an ICU nurse, just for context. And for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, in Ontario, I guess things are bad, to say the least, as far as space for hospital room and trained staff and all of that stuff. So, but the thing is that you're seeing from the politicians and media is that, oh, we're just going to add more of this, more of that, as if it's just a quick fix. And my good friend Audrey said that She made a post sort of poo-pooing that. I'm just wanted to share this because I thought it was important for everyone to hear. Because when I read it, I was 100%. Like, holy fuck. I didn't know that. So, yeah.
And I've got more to add on to that.
Yeah. So this is from 3 days ago, which I guess was April 16th. Okay. Everyone thinks that we can just add more beds to solve the problem. There are no more nurses. None. Our 21-bed ICU has expanded into other areas or the hospital slowly taking over and engulfing other units and the supply/beds that accompany them. Our ICU registered nurses are being asked to take care of more than the safe amount of patients. The worst part is no one cares. The hospital administration is asking us to dig deeper within ourselves and to learn how to spread yourself thin. They are relying on us for not only providing and maintaining an excellence in nursing care, but setting up units and training more staff, all while caring for your loved ones. There is no more time within a day. I work all my shifts with no breaks, no water, no food, because I can't take off my mask and I can't leave my patients because there is no one who can watch them. I spend my shifts with people who are scared either because they are so sick or they are redeployed staff who don't know how to care for the intubated and ventilated patients. I am asked to be more than a nurse every day, and there is nothing in return. No help, no one who is coming to help us. We are slowly drowning. We are literally slowly taking away our own mental well-being and physical bodies. You can't dig deeper when there is nothing left. Our nurses are suffering. I go to work now not because I feel empowered to help and be a nurse. I go to work so that I can be there for my friends and colleagues. I can help them so that together we can possibly take care of each other. I go there to ensure that while we are being chipped away, maybe I can ensure my nurse friends are not being chipped of their last piece. And that was in response to the Health Minister of Ontario, Christine Elliott, promising 350 new ICU beds as cases surge throughout Ontario.
Yeah, so just to go on more about that, I got a bunch of shit here written down. So for an ICU, 17-bed ICU, which is where Audrey works, that's the amount of beds on a regular, like before COVID, it requires 54 nurses. And that's for 24 hours.
That's 4 beds, you said, sorry?
17 beds requires 54 nurses.
Jesus, okay.
And where Audrey's working was already short-staffed pre-COVID. So they're already working with less than the required number of nurses. Once they're 18, 17 beds, once COVID hit, they bumped it to 21. That was at the start of COVID. The second wave, they opened up an additional unit so that they could hold 25 beds and more if needed. And now with the third wave, they are currently, as we speak, expanding to 54 beds. With no increase of nurses. They're sending in nurses from other departments to help, but they're not trained in anything regarding the ICU. They're scared because they don't know how to care for such sick patients. They're now starting to train all these additional nurses over a 1, maybe a 2-day PowerPoint presentation.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where so Audrey, prior going into ICU, had to do, I think it was a 3 or 4 month schooling down at one of the universities downtown. So 4 months, every day, like 5 days a week, you're in school, doing it, practicing it. You got practical tests, you got written tests, is now into a 1-day presentation.
And just because I have a very limited understanding of that 4-month course. These 4-month courses are not, it's only 4 months. How much training is that? Those are condensed courses. So a 4-month course is something that
like fast tracks.
Exactly. So this is something that if you were to go to university or college for a full, you would do this over 2 semesters.
Yeah.
So just for anyone who's out there confused and thinking that it's not a lot, it's condensed time. You're getting a lot of information in a very short period of time.
And now they're just giving it to them in a PowerPoint. In like 4 to 6 hours.
But you know what's interesting that you say that, and that shoots down a lot of I was saying stuff earlier, because you would see, for example, the hospital in Newmarket laid off 200 nurses, I believe, in December or November, as we're in the second wave in Ontario. Is
crazy.
Well, still locked down. And that's because a lot of, here's the part that a lot of people don't like to tell people, is that a lot of hospitals are empty except for people dealing with COVID. So because surgeries get canceled, you've got nurses that are in there that only deal with surgeries. You've got various wings. It's like different departments at an office job. You have people that deal in accounting or whatever. And when those places aren't busy, they do layoffs. Now, that said, my original thought was, why can't we repurpose these nurses to help out with the ICU? Obviously, I'm naive and don't know the full extent of
100%.
it, even though I'm with Audrey.
I agree with you on that. Like, I don't think any layoffs should have happened, and I don't think, like, that's just, I don't know if, I've never heard of it, like other hospitals around here laying off a bunch of other ones or a bunch of nurses. It was just,
it's happened elsewhere as well, I believe.
It? Yeah. Anyways, instead of laying them off, give them, again, maybe take a week and let them 5 days, in a week, train them. So, okay, they're not going to be able to do everything, but if they can put in IVs, they know how to monitor meds and all this other stuff, at least then when you
take some burden off of the existing nurses in there.
Yeah, they're still going to have to do a lot of the work, but somebody else is there to monitor the other patients. I still have a lot more here that I want to get through.
Yeah, go for it.
So they've shut down all elective surgeries and have asked doctors and surgeons to help in the ICU.
Just a quick note on that too. It's, if you go through and read the elective surgeries, and I'm putting that in quotations, there's a lot of things that make that list that aren't exactly elective. You know what I mean? It's like, these are life-changing surgeries for a lot of people too. So
100%.
But elective is a fancy word of making it seem like it's not that big a fucking deal. Like, oh, you want to get your tits done? We're not doing that today.
True. But just to go off, like, shutting down surgeries and everything, since the beds have been, or the ICUs have been, like, expanded so many times, if one of your loved ones have to go and get, like, life-saving surgery or end up in the ICU to some crazy circumstance, just know that they're now not getting 100% of the care that they could have, because that one nurse is now spread between like 5 patients instead of like 1 to 2.
Yeah, which is a scary thing in the overlap that we don't think about either, right?
Yeah, so keep in mind that the only pandemic pay that the nurses have received was for a 4-month period. I think it was a 4-month period, and that was during the first wave, and they received that, I think it was like October-ish.
Now, they got it 6 months after it was promised, right?
Yeah, so they were supposed to get it, I believe, back in like June or July. That never happened. Apparently, I don't know if this is for all hospitals, but the hospital that Audrey works at, they received it. They had the pandemic pay there. They held it for another 3 or 4 months. Then they gave it to all the nurses in a lump sum, which got then taxed way more than it would if it rolled out slowly.
Yeah, which infuriates me, because if the government's paying it, give it to your fucking thing. Because like you said, you paid in a lump sum. Lump sum is the highest tax bracket. 65%, maybe more, is going to go straight back to the government. If the government's paying it, these hospitals should have been paying their fucking employees. And I believe it's not only her hospital that's done that. I've heard of other people working at other hospitals that weren't receiving the pay that the hospital was getting. The hospital they got it. They're billing the government. Yeah, because they're turning around and investing it.
So there's been no increased pay to nurses. The hospital,
that's a lie.
They don't even give them free parking.
And parking's not cheap at hospitals, as everyone knows.
So the only pandemic pay they've got was for that 4-month period. We're still in the fucking pandemic, and there's more work now than there was at the beginning of it. And they haven't received any increased pay. Just let me get through this.
Yeah, go.
So normally pre-COVID, Audrey would care for 1 to 2 patients max. and 2 being like it was absolutely needed. The patients are incubated and on breathing machines. They have 2 to 3 medications for infusions just to control blood. Now she's caring for 4 to 5 patients at a time instead of that 1 to 2. So now you're spread between 4 to 5 patients for nothing. Like, they still have to do all those other things. They still have to control blood, all the medications, make sure everything's good. And you have 4 or 5 patients now when it used to be 1 to 2. And this is just a little something. So Audrey also doesn't like being called a hero. The hospital uses it against her, stating that it's her job to be a hero and help everyone, and it is just what she signed up to do. Don't get it wrong, she absolutely cares about helping people, but the hospital does not even provide basic things to make sure she can do her job properly. And again, they're not staffing or training other nurses to come in and actually provide proper help and quality care. So again, if a loved one goes into the hospital right now and has to go in ICU, you're not getting that care that you should be getting.
This is the thing that has bothered me throughout this entire pandemic, is that we have a healthcare system, right? Yeah. But since the pandemic started, the healthcare system is now a COVID system. So if you don't have anything to do with COVID, you can fuck off. Mm-hmm. If you need fucking elective surgeries, again, I'm using that term fucking loosely because we all know what those really are. If you need elective surgeries, if, like you said, CJ, you end up in the ICU, now that ICU care is far less superior or it's significantly diminished, the care, just due to the numbers that they have to deal with. So we don't have a healthcare system. We have a COVID system that only deals with you if you have COVID. And if you don't, you can fuck off. Like, if you need to go to the dentist, no. If you need to go to do this, no. Everything is just revolved around COVID. And I understand that COVID is a serious thing and it affects a lot of people. Obviously, look at the situation in the ICU rooms. They're spread pretty fucking thin. Yeah. So I'm not diminishing that. But what I am saying is this is exposing the fucking flaws with our amazing healthcare system that we like to fucking tout, because it's not that fucking amazing. And it never was. It's just a lot of people are going to go, oh, well, it's fucking this, it's that. It's not good. If you don't have COVID, fuck off. Yeah. You don't get treatment here.
I just like over the year, because it's been over a year now since COVID hit. The fact that they were understaffed going into COVID and haven't done anything about it over the entire year. They've hired...
Tells you everything you need to know.
They've hired like agency nurses, which again, when they come in, they're not getting tripled or quadruple patients. They're getting the minimum. They have nothing to worry about. They're getting paid more. So the hospital...
What is an agency nurse? Sorry. I don't know.
Just like, so, it's like, so a hospital, again, if they're short staffed, or even a clinic and they need a nurse to come in, there's these agencies out there that you can reach out and say, we need 2 nurses for these days, and then hire those nurses. But instead of increasing the pay for the nurses you already have, or trying to find more nurses, you're calling in these other ones and paying like twice as much to hire these other nurses, because the agency's taking a cut.
Yeah.
Which is usually a third of their pay. And let's be honest, those nurses aren't getting like $20 an hour. Yeah. But so the docs and surgeons, and this is regarding Audrey's hospital, since they've been asked to come in and help in other units, if they come in and work in the intensive care units from 7 a.m. to midnight, they get an additional $385 an hour.
And the nurses and people that are actually running these places
get nothing.
Yeah. And I believe that government care and I'm not a fucking snob, but I think it was only $4 an hour as well. Like it wasn't a huge bump where you would notice it. The pandemic pay.
Yeah, it wasn't it was a little bit, especially there was other shit for if you worked overtime hours, you saw an additional like $100, $200 for the week. Not sure if that's actually 100%, but it was something along that lines. If you took overtime, you made extra. But like, again, if you work from midnight to 7 a.m., any of these doctors or surgeons, they make an additional $450 an hour. Like, how are you able to give them this much more money?
Yeah, where's the justification behind that?
But you can't give your nurses a bump in pay. You can't even give them free fucking parking at the hospital.
The parking thing drives me fucking crazy.
Like, it's driven me crazy since Audrey started working at the hospital. The fact that they have to fucking pay to park
ever in the existence of hospitals that they still charge their employees because hospital parking is exorbitant.
Chris, it's a discounted rate. Chris,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's a discounted rate of probably $2 for $20 parking.
I was from the start of this pandemic from before this pandemic till about a month ago, I was more or less working in a major hospital downtown throughout this entire thing. So I know firsthand, I had to park a couple blocks away to get parking that was affordable.
Reasonable? Yeah.
Affordable. Yeah. And
it's insane. Like, how can you justify telling your docs and surgeons if they come in? Like, I get it. There should be an increased pay for them. I'm not saying there shouldn't be, but $385 an hour on top of their original pay. Like, that's an increase to what their hourly is.
And here's the other thing. They're human beings. So they're like, a hospital isn't like any other place. If you want to work overtime at a job, some people stay to do the overtime. So there's a lot of people. I'm going to use a construction site because that's what I'm most familiar with. So if overtime is being offered at a construction site and 20 guys volunteer, you're probably going to have 15 that are there to work and get the extra money. You're going to have 5 that are there just to get the extra money, but they don't really plan on working. So if we're going to pretend that because they wear scrubs that some of these guys aren't just there to collect the extra $400 fucking dollars an hour, I think we're all kind of fooling ourselves.
Audrey told me a story. There was a guy that came in, one of the docs, and like, obviously he learned about this, but when you're a surgeon and whatever, you're just slicing and dicing, you're fucking doing your job. There's nurses there to help you and other people to control meds and do all this other shit. So as you do it for so many years, there's little things that you forget about. And they were looking at the monitors and he's like, what's all this? And it's literally like all the meds that are being pushed like every half hour.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the guy that's getting an additional $385 to work.
Wondering what the fuck he's looking at.
Yeah. Doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
give that guy $100 and spread that other $385 between the other nurses that are working right now.
Just back to something that you said earlier when you were running through your notes there. Something that struck me as well is it sounds nonchalant when it's like, oh, someone's intubated and there's medicines and all this stuff that need to be cared for. And we've gone from maximum 2-to-1 to 5-to-1 for an average person. And now I'm very close with you guys, obviously. So I get these little tidbits information, but for the average Joe listening, I'm just going to explain what that means. You're keeping these people alive because they're basically in a coma. Well, I think they are in a coma and they need to eat. They need to stay alive. They need to get their medicines. They need to do all this stuff. So the amount of care that's required just to keep one person in a coma or intubated state is insane. And if you're going to ask, and the people that care for them, it's not the doctors, it's the nurses do all this. The nurses run the show. The doctors come around, check, and the doctors have an important job, and I'm not diminishing them even a little bit. But there's people that run the show, and that's the nurses, and they keep the people alive. And now they're being asked to be stretched way beyond their means. And the fucking thing, the fact that they can sit there and say, just dig deeper, just try a bit harder.
In an
fuck
email.
You. How about that? How about that? How about
that's
you
what
fuck yourself, you fucking asshole?
That's what I said. I'm like, I'd literally right then and there Tell them to lick my ass.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'll see you next week, maybe.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna fire me? You don't have anybody.
That's what I said. What are you gonna do? You're already short-staffed already. We want a pay raise. We want this. You're not gonna give it to us? See ya.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're playing on.
They're using that hero shit.
Well, it's not just that. That's bad too. But if you get into healthcare or any sort of personal care, you care about the average person on a different level than, say, you or I.
100%.
Right? Or anyone who doesn't get into that. And if you don't think that they're not fucking playing on these people care, they're not going to walk away from their patients. They're going to stick around and get the job done because they will, because they're better people than you and I. They're good people. And that's 100%. Why they do the job in the first place. But the fucking hospital turns around, holds that over their heads.
Yeah.
And takes advantage of them.
Yeah.
And it's fucking wrong.
So when the hospital started to like increase the number of patients they were giving like per nurse, my biggest thing was, okay, so what's your regular amount of people you're supposed to care for at once? 1 to 2. Well, now you're giving me 3. Like 3 was like a big jump at the beginning. And it's like, you look at all these other things where, all these other incidences where something happens in ICU or just in the hospital in general, where a nurse might have done something, or a nurse, I should say, did something, whether they got verbal confirmation from a doc, whatever it was, to do something, it all ends up coming back on the nurse. And then at the end of the day, and then at the end of the day, they just
Who told you to do that?
Why did you do that? They're not working with us anymore. They're not at the hospital. And now they lose their license. They lose all this other shit. So I'm like, I told her, I'm like, you need to do whatever you have to do to stay safe. If you can't handle 3, tell them. And don't just verbally tell them. Send an email to your manager, their manager, and the CEO.
Get it in writing. Copy
and now it's in writing. Now you have proof. It was sent out. These are your concerns. And then now you're documented and it can't come back on you.
Yeah, it's
wild.
There's one message that's being pushed out there by the politicians that are saying basically stiff upper lip. We're doing really well here. Our hospital workers are heroes. They're great people. All this shit, and then they turn around and give them no support.
Yeah,
and just expect all these magic things to happen. So I didn't, like I said, I'm still processing some of the information you said as well. That's sticking with me. I didn't realize a lot of the shit about the healthcare system before this. Obviously, I get insider shit from Audrey and stuff and talking with you.
Yeah, you get like little snippets every once in a while.
I just get little snippets. So I know 1/10 of 1% more than the average person. Yeah. And the shit that I know is like, holy fuck, I had no idea it's that bad. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So if this can sort of, even if it's to a very small audience, fucking open up some eyes going, okay, yeah, things aren't exactly as we're portraying them to be. It's not just writing a number on a piece of paper saying 350 ICU beds, because it's basically magic, it sounds like.
Oh, you can put they make it sound like they're the greatest magicians. Fucking Rob should take notes.
Fuck, dude, it's wild.
It's absolutely absurd what they're doing.
I remember you telling me, this is probably back in October or November, that when Audrey first got like quadruple shifted, where she had to care for 4 patients at a time.
Yeah.
And you telling me like how big a deal that is and how that should never happen and how it should be maximum, if in a worst case scenario 2. And I only realized now after you ran off those numbers that their capacity was still only 21 and now they're going to go up to 54. So 54. What in the fuck? So they were getting quadrupled at capacity. I thought they would have already expanded to a certain number, but they were nowhere near this new number.
They're just expanding. Yeah, they're just expanding. Yeah. Like literally. So they went from, let me pull this back up here. They went from, so pre-COVID, there were 17 beds. Then they went to 21. Then they went to 25. And then they had additional ones if needed, but they were trying to keep the limit at 25.
And this doesn't account for staff too. This is just
no. This
doesn't mean that you have trained staff.
It's not like when they increased a bed, they hired 4 new nurses. No.
Yeah.
They just added those 4 new beds.
Is that the number for every bed you need 4 nurses? Is that
I don't know. I'm just I know what you're saying. Because for 17 beds, it required 54 nurses. So whatever the fucking math is, I think that's like 3 nurses per patient.
54 nurses, 17 beds. Yeah, it's 3 nurses. So basically, and you said they were understaffed. So let's just say it's 4 to 1. So for every ICU bed you add, you probably have to add a minimum of 4 nurses with highly trained specializations in how to deal with people that are going to be in those beds.
Yeah. Like, again, there's 2 to 3 meds just to keep like their blood under control, their blood pressure under control. Never mind everything else. Never mind the meds to keep them sedated and all this other shit, turning them, making sure that they're clean. All this other shit. Like, who's fucking doing all that other shit? Now
someone has to do that.
Oh, yeah. It's infuriating. And now her hospital is expanding to 54 beds.
Yeah, it's a magic number, it sounds like.
Literally.
Like I said, you could write any number down on that piece of paper. It doesn't mean it's going to be true.
Yeah.
And the thing that is scary is it's COVID. Most people don't have an adverse reaction to COVID, thankfully. Mm-hmm. And our hospitals are still overwhelmed. Like, there's thousands of cases a day, and the hospitalizations and deaths have relatively remained the same throughout the whole time, which is positive because the hospitalizations aren't exactly spiking because it's not that serious of a virus. Sorry if that upsets people for me saying that.
Well,
but I'm just generalizing with my words.
Like there are a lot of cases where it's either mild symptoms, no symptoms, you still have it. But then there are cases where they need to be intubated and put into
and that's where I was going with that. Is that if, like I said, I've got it right now, my family has it. Luckily, we're all fine. Very mild symptoms, which is what most people have. Anyone I know that's got it, for the most part, is skated through relatively unharmed. But there's always those situations where people, it hits them in a bad way. They got to end up in the hospital. Now you're going into the hospital and there's no one there to care for you, which is scary to hear that.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality, is that you're going in there and there's not enough qualified people.
You would hope to go in there to get the care that you actually need.
You assume going into a hospital, that's the safest place to be for situations like that. But it sounds like it might not be the case. And surprise, surprise, fucking politicians lie. Who the fuck knew?
Fuck. Really?
Who hasn't been sounding this alarm bell forever?
Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So
but yeah, I hope I did that. I hope I did that a little bit of justice.
You said a lot of shit that I had no idea.
I would like to get Audrey on the podcast. Whether she wants to come on and talk about it is up to her. Yeah. But because I think she would say it a lot better than my dumb.
Well, yeah, she can. Yeah, but you did a good job explaining it. And also, I mean, you've lived this too for the last year as well. You know the ins and outs. You were with her, like, she was an ICU nurse before a pandemic, so you have an understanding of sort of the general ins and outs as much as you can, I suppose, right? Without getting into the obvious technical shit that you and I would just be, what the fuck are you talking about? But you've lived it too, and you did a pretty fucking good job of saying those numbers. And those numbers scared the fuck out of me because I didn't realize it was. Yeah, it's brutal,
crazy. And literally, they're sending an email saying, "Dig deeper, learn to spread yourself thin." What? Hey, bitch!
That is an insane thing. Yeah, here's something else you didn't mention. They canceled all of their, right off the hop, they canceled all of their vacation all that time.
Oh, yeah.
Did they pay them out for it? No, absolutely not. They didn't pay them all that shit. Like, they just do all this shit and they're like, "Oh, dig in. You got this. Learn to spread yourself thin."
Yeah.
Who the fuck wrote this? And where the fuck are you? Because I'm pretty sure you're not. You sending this email is not
at home.
Yeah, you're not spreading yourself fucking thin. You have no idea what we're going through, you fucking dirtbag.
Yeah.
So why don't you fucking you wasted everyone's time by making us read this fucking drivel.
Yeah. When I could have been doing something more important.
Yeah. Like not getting infuriated because you sent me a stupid fucking email.
Yeah. When she showed me that email, I was like, are you fucking serious? Who had the audacity to fucking write that?
The audacity is right. Yeah. Who has the balls?
Like,
who's the fucking guy?
Like, I want to know, like,
yeah.
Okay. Whoever it is needs to go and spend a 12-hour shift with a nurse.
That. I want to party with that person.
From the time the nurse gets there to the time the nurse leaves. Because there's days, especially now, where Audrey's shift ends at 7:30 a.m. or p.m. and she's not leaving the hospital till 8:30. I don't think she left the other night till 9.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's 12 hours. Like as I read at the beginning, that's no food, that's no water, that's no stopping.
Yeah, because you can't take off your PPE
literally run off your feet.
So when they expanded the last time, they expanded into like a whole new wing, and it was like that's just COVID. Audrey was saying that the janitors weren't even going in there to clean the garbage, take out the trash, clean the floors, like. So now
it's a mess.
Now on top of that, they're having to empty the garbages and as they're caring for patients.
It's fucked, man.
It's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, we have a horrible healthcare system. And I hope that doesn't upset people, but you just have to look at it for what it is. We don't have a healthcare system that is designed to deal with any contingencies. We're not proactive. You would have thought, like to your point earlier, CJ, this is not a new thing. This is over a year we've been dealing with this. Has the hospital gone out and actively tried to train properly train new nurses? Have they tried to hire? Have they tried to do this, that? No. They're just fucking
not well. If they have, they're not doing it.
They're putting band-aids on broken arms. You know, it's shocking. And that's one hospital in the GTA out of fucking dozens that are probably dealing with the exact same thing. Yep. And then there's hundreds throughout the province that are probably dealing with this to a lesser scale, because here's the other reality that no one likes to talk about. A lot of these hospitals are empty in a lot of parts of Ontario because COVID hasn't affected a lot of parts of Ontario.
Yeah.
And so you've got hospitals that aren't allowed to do surgeries, aren't allowed to do this, and they're sitting there empty. And those nurses are getting sent home because they're getting laid off. Sorry, there's no work. The Ontario Hospital Association told people to stop doing surgeries. We can't do surgeries.
Yeah.
You got to go home. So you got nurses sitting at home all over the province who could be repurposed to help, at least in some capacity.
Yeah.
You know, it's shocking.
But again, like, I don't understand why it's taken so long. Like, they're doing a fucking PowerPoint presentation to get a nurse to somewhat help in the ICU.
That's an embarrassment.
How in your fucking head does that make sense? The nurses that are in the ICU had to go through, we'll say, a 4-month fast track program to work in the ICU. And now we're going to give these other nurses a 1-day PowerPoint and they'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Chris.
They got it.
Yeah, Sounds good. Chris, they'll dig deep.
I've heard they've been learning.
I've got an episode name already. Dig deep. Fucking episode 34.
Here I was thinking this was going to be about me. Chris has COVID. Nope. Dig deep, motherfuckers. It's time to go.
Dig deep, Chris. Dig deep, Chris.
Oh, you know what? The one thing I am looking forward to is being called a survivor. Audrey may not want to be called a hero, but I'm looking forward to being called a COVID survivor. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, let me tell you this right now. I ain't fucking calling you that shit.
I demand you to, because it's now my pronoun. So,
well, you can suck my ass.
Well, that's fine. I'm just going to take you to the Human Rights Tribunal. And that goes for all you fuckers out there listening. My pronouns are now
gladly
COVID
attend.
Survivor, and I will take hero as a replacement. So,
oh my God.
Just jokes.
Shit. Well, again, I hope I did that some justice.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah, I'd love to get Audrey on here and she can actually give her 2 cents.
We didn't really discuss how deep we were going to go with this. I texted you just because I saw that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that and just get it out there, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't really. I don't really have a whole lot more to go, to expand on. I'm not the one in there.
No, exactly. I think we've sort of reached out. I mean, it's been basically our own opinions on it
Just
anyway.
give more information. Like, it's not as easy as, let's just give you some more beds. It's not that simple.
And that's people that say that are absurd. And there's a lot of people that hear that and go, oh, well, they've given more beds.
Yeah, we've got more beds.
The government said there was going to be more beds. What exactly is the problem? Are these nurses not digging deep enough?
I don't think they're spreading themselves as thin as they could, Chris.
By the way, that spread yourself thin sounds almost like a sexual euphemism. You know what I mean? Come on.
Oh man,
that could be used in a few dirty ways, and I'm 100%. Thinking of some as we talk about it.
Oh my god! All right, let's change topics.
So sorry, people. COVID talk's over, but it was apt for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
Number two, we have my good friend Audrey and CJ's wife, and she's been put through the fucking ringer, and I feel for her, and I fucking am happy that it's her doing it, and I would want nobody else to look after me if I had to go there, but it's
agreed.
It's just an unfortunate fucking situation. So
yeah, it's crazy. All right, did you end up watching that the fight last night? I want to talk. Okay, so I want to talk.
I want to talk about this too. For
the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren boxing match. And for those of you who don't know, Jake Paul is a huge YouTuber. Apparently, he was on Disney Channel.
News to me.
They brought that up in some of the videos they were showing, like leading up to the fight and one of the videos during the fight. And then Ben Askren is a Bellator MMA champion and also fought in the UFC. He was like top 10, wasn't he?
I believe he's also a gold medal Olympic wrestler.
Olympian, yeah.
Yeah.
Gold medal wrestler.
Yeah, he knows his shit. The reason that this is worth talking about, and people please don't tune out just because if you think we're going to get into a fighting topic. No. We're going to talk about this because this was the biggest shit show I've ever seen in my entire life. The production was out of its fucking mind.
Hey, you know what? So the production was absolutely out of mind, but looking back on it, I almost think that's what they want. Like they wanted it to be like that. I think
you might be right.
Pete Davidson was there. Snoop Dogg was commentating. Mario Lopez was there. I think Mario actually knows a fair bit about boxing.
Mario Lopez was the only one on that broadcast that was actually trying to talk about boxing while boxing was happening.
So was that other guy, the guy on the far left?
Yeah, but he was a color commentator. He had to.
Sure.
You know? But it was a disaster.
They had another they had a comedian that was up there commentating. Pete Davidson was there. There was
Oscar De La Hoya came in. Snoop Dogg came in. God. It was a round table.
Everybody was smoking Snoop's weed and
drinking heavily the whole time.
It was literally cigarettes. A party for everybody that was there.
It was so bizarre to watch. You want to talk about out of touch with reality?
They had a slap fight during the whole thing, and it was like
which was pre-recorded.
Shit. Like, oh my God, like. It was like some WWE met boxing, met MMA, met fucking Real Housewives. Like it was
hosted by
wild.
Ric Flair. Yeah. Literally, I'm not making that up. Like Ric Flair was hosting it.
It was so fucking crazy to watch. Like I couldn't believe what we were watching. And I hate to say it, but so thankfully I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. We didn't watch. Obviously, I'm at home. Self-isolating. But CJ was like, do you want to watch this? He found a free stream for us. So we were kind of texting as it was going on. I just want to explain this to people, just how usual fight productions and pay-per-views work. So this wasn't cheap. This was $50. I believe that's US too. So you're probably looking.
It was
probably after taxes. It was probably in the $70, $75 range Canadian to buy. So usually when you pay for a pay-per-view fight or MMA, what you do is you pay for it and you get 4 or 5 fights and you sit down, pay-per-view kicks in, and now you watch fighting. That did not happen on this on this pay-per-view. Pay-per-view kicked in at 9. you watched a lot of celebrities joke, smoke weed, drink together, which
literally party.
Literally, they were partying, and seemed to be nobody in charge of like what was happening. And then it just turned into a concert for, what would you say, an hour and a half?
Yeah, for almost, I think it was like 2 hours.
So the first fight,
it was just music.
Yeah, so the first fight, if you can call it a fight, was between two celebrities who like literally beefed in a nightclub, and now they wanted to fight.
So the one guy actually had fights previously. He had like 8 or 9 fights.
Yeah,
previously.
Joe Fournier.
Yeah.
He's some billionaire or something.
He stopped for like, I think he said like 4 years. And that was his first fight back. And he was saying he wanted the fight to like go on, just to kind of get rid of the like cobwebs in the ring and shit, and like kind of get the feel for it again. Cause I think he's going to try to go back into it and get more fights going forward. But yeah, that would like the one guy, like at least he kept his hands up. The other guy, like he kept his hands up, but like that guy had been boxing for
the other guy was a guy named Ray Khan, who's some Latin singer, rapper. I'm not sure. I've never heard of him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. I just don't know who the fuck he is. So all right. So you go on to pay-per-view, you got 15 minutes of nonsense, celebrities drinking, literally partying, like CJ says.
Yeah.
Then you have the world's shittiest fight between two very, very amateur boxers, I think. Like, I know that Fournier had fights and stuff, but he looked not good. He should have floored the guy. And like, this is literally how they introduced him. Fournier has 8 professional fights. He's been doing this, whatever. Hasn't fought in a couple
7
years,
knockouts.
But whatever. then they bring in 7 knockouts. They bring it, and then they say Raycon. Oh, he's been training for just about a month now.
Just over a month.
Just over a month now.
I texted Chris. I'm like, hang on, what?
Yeah, come on, people.
Like, good for him for stepping in the ring, I guess. But at the same time, like, I hope your paycheck was worth it.
I don't think so, bro.
Fuck, man.
What I'm fucking wondering about this, because how many music acts were there? 7?
It was like a concert / fucking boxing event.
Yeah. So there's you have the shitty fight, and then it's like the Black Keys play, which is cool. Yeah. And then another artist comes up, and then another artist comes up. You're like, okay, but it's not like they're just doing one song. Yeah. It's not like they're doing another song. No, they're doing like 3 or 4 songs. They're doing like 20-minute sets.
Yeah.
And I think 3 or 4 artists went up. And then our stream cut out, but I think you and I missed 2 other artists perform while we were trying to find another stream. So I think there was 5 artists perform in one period between the very first fight, which you paid $50 for, supposedly.
Yeah. And because it was that fight, then there was
a shitty fight, and then you get people talking. Also, while that fight was going on, Paul Davidson walked up into the booth, and they cut away from the fight while it was happening to show Pete Davidson. I'm old and out of touch. It's official.
Yeah.
To show
you did text me that last night too.
To fucking shake hands with Mario Lopez and watch them literally take selfies together.
They literally stopped showing the fight and just showed Pete fucking shaking hands with everybody. Like,
it was absurd.
Yo, show the fucking fight. This is a boxing event. We're trying to watch the fights. But that fight was fucking like 2 older guys. I don't even know who they were. They were just duking it out. Apparently, so after the fight, it seemed like they had beef on the streets. And instead of like taking it thug life, they took it to the ring and dealt it in the ring. Now, good on them.
Yeah. 100%. But not for $50 fucking US.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah. And then Frank Mir fought. Actually, Frank did a lot better than I thought he was going to do.
He lost though, right? I fell asleep before that fight ended.
He did lose.
In a decision?
It went all 6 rounds. Okay. So like, kudos to him. He's fucking 276 pounds. Went
He's
6
gigantic.
rounds. Yeah. A huge man.
So big.
Went 6 rounds.
Frank Mir, just for those listening, is an ex-UFC fighter. World champion. Defeated Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
But not a boxer. Yeah. So different game.
Then there was another fight. I don't know who it was, but the one guy had blue hair. And I think he he went down. He said he got hit in the nuts. They watched the replay. It literally got hit in like his liver with the guy's wrist. Like it wasn't even like a clean shot to the liver. The guy got.
Did it look like he quit?
He pretty much. Everybody was saying like he just kind of gave up. He was losing the fight and like he was getting beat up. I'm surprised he didn't get knocked out. But yeah, he got this little measly hit to the liver. It was almost like to the hip.
And I'm just reading about it now.
And
it sounds like
he said it was a nut shot.
Way out.
Yeah. And then so apparently according to boxing rules, you have 5 minutes. If it was a low blow, you have 5 minutes to like get yourself back sorted and then continue to fight. If you don't continue to fight, it's considered a forfeit. You lose. So that's pretty much what happened. And then we had the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. And that lasted a whole minute and like 30 seconds. And honestly, looking when it first happened, I'm like, fuck, like the ref stopped it way too soon. Like should have let him get up, go again. But then I watched some shit this morning, and when it was a little weird because like the ref said, Jake, stay in your fucking corner. And Jake kind of like once Ben stood up, Jake kind of like went in to like go box again. The ref hasn't cleared anything. He was like still counting. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Stay in your fucking corner, relax.
Yeah.
And then the ref is like trying to get Ben all good, and Jake's like moving around the ring, like trying to circle the ring. It's like, dude, just like chill. So like Ben looks like he's trying to just stay like square with him, while the ref's like telling him to come forward, but Ben's moving to stay squared
with Jake Paul, yeah.
With Jake. So it's like I can see.
And it looks like he's
wobbling.
He's lost his bearings, but he's just trying to keep track because he thinks that he's about to get
his opponent's
back into
fucking all over the place. Like, dude, you were told to get in the corner, stay in the fucking corner.
So I obviously didn't see this live, but I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
The thing that was very curious to me was that referee. I don't know if you saw the pre-fights at all. Did you watch any of them?
The
ones that were free.
Yeah.
Did you? So that was the same referee that took away 3 points in the same.
Oh,
fight.
in that one fight, yeah.
Yeah. So that referee, like, very strange decisions. Like
there was a couple where I did agree.
Typical shitty boxy referee.
There was a couple points in there that I did agree with. Like the one guy kept holding on, and the ref literally told him many times, "Stop holding, stop holding," and then he was finally like, "Hey, minus a point." But
it's very rare to see 3 points deducted in a single, and I think that was only a 6-round fight.
Yeah, it was. So, it was 3 points.
Like, but this isn't necessarily. I'm not claiming a fix or anything like that. What I am saying is,
there's a lot of people saying that it was fixed.
Well, boxing historically has a fucking terrible track record with terrible judges and referees.
Yeah, look at that judge. We talked about it before. What was it?
We've talked about it before. It was I think it was McGregor Mayweather. I think it was that one.
No. Because it went to a decision.
Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, it was Manny Pacquiao.
One ref scored it like Mayweather didn't win a round. And it's like, what?
It was something crazy.
Did you get the names mixed up on the scorecards or something? Like,
it was weird.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
And that judge that did that was also the ref's wife. At the same that, so the referee in the ring, his wife is judging like that. First of all, just for like transparency's sake, like if you're trying to run an up in front legitimate operation, don't put yourself in situations where anyone can go, hang on a second, the ref was in there and his wife was one of the judges. So the ref who can directly alter the course of the fight has a huge role to play and really should only take themselves out of the fight as much as possible. That's what any good ref in any sport does. Take yourself out, only interfere when it's time to keep people safe for rule infractions. But then you have someone that's judging the fight who's directly connected. So that just leads to, okay, you score the fight this way. I'll make sure that this happens. Like, it just leads to the idea of potential funny business, which you should 100%. Try to avoid as best as possible. And then But so that's the history of boxing. And then this fucking jagaloon last night, Ben Askren's trying to square up to Jake Paul, like you say. He got hit hard. He got fucking rocked.
It was a great shot. Yeah, he went down.
But that it wasn't a shot that should have ended the fight in the first fucking round.
I don't think so. I think he should have let him go. But again, I'm not in the ring. It does, if you rewatch it, it does look like he fucking wobbles. When the ref said come, like, step forward, like, come to me, he does seem to, it looks more like a wobble than anything. So I do see it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He definitely was a bit staggered to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that bugged me too is the referee is doing the count. Now, usually when you're giving someone a standing A count, they stand up. The ref holds their gloves. Look at me. Focus on me. The ref didn't do any of that.
Well, no, because he was trying to get Jake under control too. Because again, watch what Jake was doing.
I understand that, but the ref still should just tell Jake, okay, you go stand over there, and then now I'm going to grab the gloves, and I'm going to stand here, and you're going to look at you. Are you good to fight? You good? Clean off your gloves? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, but as a ref, what do you do when that
control of the situation?
Yeah, but when you tell the one guy to get in the corner, and that guy doesn't stay in the corner, are you still gonna stay here, or are you gonna kind of discipline that guy as well? I think you have to address that.
The problem is you have a guy, you're giving a guy a count that could end the fight. I think that's more important than the guy not necessarily staying in his corner.
True.
That's a huge fucking deal. I agree with you as well. Like, Jake shouldn't be moving around. It's a tough situation, right? It's unique as well.
You know what? At the end of the day, the production value and the results of the fights
were exactly
go hand in hand together. Like, I wasn't to say I was surprised with how anything went. Once I actually started, like, the pay-per-view started, I wasn't fucking surprised with anything, to be honest. It was what it was.
I was surprised, but I know I've been following this a lot less than you have. It was so strange. I mean, Ben Askren tweeted during the whole production, like, I told you guys it was going to be a circus. People love circuses. And it was like going to the circus. It was a 100%. Fucking disaster. I almost thought at a certain point, because the music performances didn't end, I almost thought that maybe there was, like, a fighter was dealing with some sort of last minute injury and they were trying to find out some sort of replacement. I felt like there was some problems behind the scene, but no, just turns out it was just a really confusing evening. That's all.
Yeah.
Everything went according to
circus. It was a circus.
Yeah. It's a fucking mess.
Now,
to say the least.
Now, for everybody saying, like, I think everybody needs to give Jake more credit than everybody is giving him. Sure, there's a lot of people saying, like, Jake can actually fucking box and he's a good boxer. But at the same time, like, he's done what he said he was going to do to all 3 fights. And like, you got to give the guy credit. He works his ass off. It's not like he looks good in there. Looks better than his last fight against Nate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think a little more credit has to go to him. Again, he's working hard.
You definitely have to give him some credit, to say the least. I mean, and you're right. He's putting in a shitload of work. Whether he should be getting the fights that he's getting, whether he should be pursuing it this way, is a completely different topic of discussion. I don't think it really matters.
And everybody hates him for, like, his attitude and all this shit. But at the same time, like, he's just trying to get the fights and sell the fights. In an interview, Ben Askren...
He's doing a good job of it. I will give him that, too.
Ben Askren even said when he wanted the Jorge Masvidal fight, he had to talk all this shit and stir the fucking pot because Masvidal didn't want to fight him.
Why would he fight him? Why am I going to fight you?
So Ben had to cause a fucking ruckus.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, they're fighting because he caused a big enough ruckus. And that's literally what Jake is doing. And I think that Jake just needs to keep doing what he's doing to the MMA scene and getting all these fights. And as long as he keeps winning, it's going to...
You know what? I'd like to see him fight a fucking real boxer, to be honest.
So would I, but who are you going to put him up against?
Well, I know that's different. That's why,
right? Like you're not going to throw Canelo in there.
No, I know that.
Or Triple G, like.
I guess I'm probably just confused as to more. Where is this going, and what is the point of all this?
Yeah, true.
I know obviously there's a lot of money to be made. That's number one. But
yeah.
He's putting a lot of time and effort, and he appears to be putting the work in, which you got to credit Jake Paul for. But that's a lot of work and a lot of early mornings, a lot of this shit. For what are you trying to do? Are you trying to become a fucking middleweight champion? Are you trying to eventually build yourself up, or are you just trying to
fight
a lot of guys
for money,
hopefully make $100 million on one crazy fucking fight against Conor McGregor, and then your boxing career is over?
You're done.
Maybe I'm confused because, again, I said this to you last night and I said this earlier. Watching that last night made me feel like an old fucking man. I had no idea who half the performers were. I had no idea who half the celebrities were, except for the old ones like Snoop and fucking Mario Lopez, who I called AC Slater. Like, I grew up watching Saved by the Bell. That's how I know Mario Lopez.
You missed it. They Snoop put together a like a super group. It's like Snoop, E40, was it Ice Cube, and somebody else. I'm gonna find it.
Sounds good. 1 second. I just got to turn my light on. It's getting dark in here.
Yeah. The group is called, I'm going to talk while Chris is gone, Mount Westmore. And it's Snoop Dogg, E40, Too Short, and Ice Cube. And now the stream I was watching got taken down, so I had to find another one. So I missed a lot of it. And a lot of the streams were muting the actual audio, so they weren't getting taken down like instantly. So I missed or couldn't hear a lot of it, but from what I did, it was pretty fucking sick. So definitely looking into those guys a lot more. But like everybody's hating on Jake for doing what he's doing, but dude, he's getting the fights, he's selling the fights, he's making a huge fucking name for himself. Everybody and anybody in the UFC is coming out saying they want to fight him. But Dana's not releasing the contract so that they can go and fight. So that's another problem. Just let these guys go fight. Dana, take your fucking cut. Make some money. Snoop won $2 million last night because he bet on Jake. Like, dude, this is fucking wild. All right. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good.
A little bit.
So, no, I was talking the whole time. We're good.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So the group is called, it's a super group, Mount Westmore, and it's Snoop Dogg, E40, Too Short, and Ice Cube.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. And I was just saying, like, the stream I was watching got shut down like during that. And then all the streams were kind of muting during the performances so that they didn't get like copyrighted or taken down like instantly. So I didn't hear a whole lot of it. But like, what I did hear was fucking sick.
Mount Westmore?
Mount Westmore.
I'm checking that out.
Yeah, 100%.
That was, it was just, I felt like an old man. That was, that was it. I was clearly out of touch, but I'm not trying to be in touch. So,
yeah,
but when you said at the beginning, like, the production was so bad, it was like they had to, it was like they did it on purpose. And I was thinking about that myself. Like, I think you might be right. Because
I think they want it to be like a fucking circus.
I think they wanted it to be like a fucking 30-second TikTok video, or however long a fucking TikTok video is. I think they wanted to be like fucking celebrity, drinking, smoking, a little bit of fighting, shitty camera angles, and just like the whole thing is just, it felt like watching a fucking.
I think they're also trying to look at it in the long run. Like when you go to an actual boxing match, sure, there's drinks, everybody's having a good time, but it's just boxing. So I think they're trying to bring it to like the next level. Again, to appeal to the younger audience.
They're trying to make it a full-blown entertainment show.
Yeah, so now when you go to these, you're watching fights, you're watching artists perform. So you see like 6 concerts, and then on top of that, it's a fucking huge fucking party. Everybody's drinking, smoking, doing their shit, having a good time, and it's just fucking everybody. It's like fucking being on Wild 'N Out. Everybody's wilding out.
It's listen, I'm not knocking it. I just it's not. If I paid money for that last night, I would have been pretty upset.
Same.
Yeah, I would have been quite bothered. But if that's what people want, and I got to give Jake Paul credit again. They made a fuckload of money last night, not only for themselves, but you think those celebrities were there for free? No fucking way,
dude. Snoop,
they were getting money.
Snoop made $2 million just off the fights alone.
Did he bet on them? Is that why
he bet $2 million on Jake?
Holy fuck!
So if you watch the thing back, Snoop's like, "Get my money, Jake."
I heard him saying that, yeah.
And then at the end of it, he's like, $2 million. $2 million.
Holy fuck.
And I think one thing people didn't really think about or knew about until the actual fight was that Jake Paul's like bodyguard, security guard, whatever you want to fucking call him, who had been with Jake for years, passed away 10 days prior to the fight. And when Jake saw him last, his bodyguard, Shadow, told him, I had a dream the other night. You're going to win first round, 2 minutes, 38 seconds.
Come on, fuck.
And he won first round,
wow.
1 minute, like 30 seconds. Like, so Jake had emotions going into that fight as well. And like, wasn't just fighting for a paycheck in a sense.
You're much more, you follow this a lot closer than I, but what do you think he's trying to do with this? Do you think he's trying to become a professional boxer? Do you think he's just going to keep doing these? I mean, listen, if he can do one of these every 6 months, you're making a couple mil just fucking around having a good time.
Yeah, he's making bank on these.
What do you think he's trying to do?
So I think all of this started when McGregor went into the boxing realm. As soon as McGregor did that crossover, then you started seeing these YouTubers get into it, and other production companies picking up all these YouTuber versus YouTuber fights. And because these YouTubers have such a huge influence and following, it's easy to sell tickets. Your favorite YouTuber or one of the influencers you watch and follow all the time is going to fight this Saturday against fucking Joe Schmo. And if you are a big fan of this guy, you hate Joe Schmo. They got beef. They're going to settle it in the ring. But I think, again, when McGregor crossed over and fought Floyd, and the paychecks were fucking gigantic.
There's no question that changed a lot of things.
Jake's said multiple times he wants to fight McGregor. That's like right now. That's where he wants to go. Whether that'll happen or not
is a different story.
Yeah, that's where he wants to go. Everybody's like, I think Jake needs to fight an amateur boxer. Someone who's fought. Jake's got 3 fights. Maybe somebody that's fought like 10 fights and isn't 0-10 or isn't like 5-5. Give him somebody that's like 7-3, 8-2. Give him somebody that give him a boxer that has experience, but maybe isn't like the next Canelo. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I think then we'll see how good he actually is. If he is,
yeah, I don't think we've seen if he's good or not yet. I think Ben Askren's one of the best wrestlers of all time,
but he's not a striker.
But he's not a striker. He's knocked people out. Sure, it's MMA, but you're also dealing with different guys, with different skill sets, whole bunch of different scenarios. Also, Ben Askren's thing is, because he's a wrestler, he takes you down and he punches your fucking head in.
Yeah.
You can't do that in boxing.
Nope.
You know, that you can't take people off their feet. You can't elbow them. You can't kick them in the legs. It's a different fucking world. Ben Askren said last night after like the first question, the one guy's like, "Where do you go from here? How do you feel?" He's like, "I don't care. I fucking take my $1 million and go coach wrestling. I don't give a fuck."
Yeah,
Which
literally, it didn't change his life at all.
It didn't.
Like, for the worse. If anything, it made his life better because he walked away with this fucking big ass paycheck, and can
which he wouldn't have gotten from Bellator or UFC.
Nope.
No one was going to pay him that.
And he can now go and open up his own wrestling studio, whatever they fucking call it, and coach wrestling.
He's probably going to get a job at an NCAA Division I fucking school.
Perfect.
That's usually, those guys get paid fucking a couple $100,000 a year. They have amazing perks to go with the job. That's probably what he's going to do. And right off into the sunset, now you got an extra $1 million in the bank.
Yeah, he may even end up coaching certain UFC guys.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of bugged me about how Ben handled it is I know he has this fucking persona, like he's a fucking shit talker, he's a this, he's a that, he doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, you made $1 million last night, but there's a lot of people that paid to sort of see you give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I never got the impression throughout this entire process that Ben Askren really gave a fuck.
No.
He kind of looked a little chunky at the fucking weigh-in.
I think he's always kind of looked like that, though. Looking at his past,
he's not
never been like shredded or jacked.
No, but he's looked fucking fitter than that.
Not a muffin top.
No, well, fuck. He didn't look like me. I'm not talking. He looked good. He looked fucking better than most, right? But for a professional fighter going into a boxing match, you know what I mean? How he's saying, "Oh, I don't give a fuck. Take my $1 million and go home. Fuck it." He was laughing, I think, when he left the ring.
Oh, him and his wife were just fucking all laughs walking down to his fucking dressing room.
Yeah. And you know what? I probably would be too. I can't believe they fucking paid me $1 million. As soon as I got fucking hit hard, I went down and the fight's over.
Yeah.
He didn't even break a sweat. And he might have been planning to fucking go down the whole time. I don't fucking know. Maybe he took that $1 million and bet it on himself to fucking lose in the first round to a knockout.
Maybe.
You never know.
You don't? Fuck, I hope he did.
If he did, he's even got himself a fucking extra retirement.
Yeah, he's got himself way more money now.
I know. Oh well, yeah, it was a clown show.
Yeah.
It was I was texting with my buddy Connor, buddy of ours, and he texted me, he's like, "What is Triller?" Because Triller was doing this. I'm like, I have no idea. He's like, neither do I. He's like, I have no idea what most of these things are. I thought it was an app. I thought it was a social media app. I did. I'm not even. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a fucking. I thought it was a social media app.
That's hilarious.
Do you know what it is?
It's just like a production company fucking thing. I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
Okay, that sounds better than me saying I think it's an app.
Like they produced the whole fucking thing. They put the fight together. They had everybody that they needed to have to get themselves, because it was technically a professional fight.
Mm.
So they had everybody there that they needed to have to get it certified by the Boxing Association or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. They call it Triller Fight Club. That's what the whole thing was.
The thing is, they're obviously going to be doing more of these.
100%. Who's the other? Or
made a lot of money.
Like it's almost like a circus version of DAZN.
It's exactly what it is.
Because
that's a great way to put it.
Did DAZN do the Tyson fight? Who did the Tyson?
No, Triller
fight?
did it.
Triller did Tyson?
Well, Triller sponsored that.
Okay.
Triller sponsored the Tyson fight.
Okay, gotcha. Yes,
I don't know who put them all together, but
yeah,
it was weird. It was. Oh, speaking of the Pauls, what's your other one doing? Your boy there? No, the one that's supposed to fight Mayweather.
Word. Nothing.
No clue.
It's just
crickets.
Delayed. He's still training like a fucking madman.
I'm sure he is. He's about to fight Floyd fucking Mayweather. I would be.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't.
I don't know.
Right now, it's speculation. Because
they've sold pay-per-views for that, right?
I'm pretty sure they put it all on for They put it on
said they
pre-sale.
had like that, like sort of tiered pre-sale.
He talked about it on his podcast a while back, saying like the fight is still happening. They want to do it where they can have fans like come in. They don't want to do it in an empty arena. And he did kind of bring up like all the speculation, like, look, the fight is still happening. Nobody's like dropped out. It's like contracts are signed. It's not because of money and all this shit. They just want to do it. Like both parties have agreed to do it within with an audience. And then
so they're probably trying to iron out those details because there is parts of the states now that you can have an audience.
You can do that to a certain capacity. And then he also brought up fuck, what were you talking about? Fuck, I totally lost all my train of thought.
That's okay. I was talking
Jesus
about
Christ.
I was talking about the other Paul, and there was a subscription base.
Oh like so they brought up like that they didn't sell enough like pre-sales, and they're like that is definitely not the case. They've actually sold more than what they thought they were going to sell. I would say that too if I was trying to keep people interested in the fight, though. Yeah, maybe, but
I mean,
I could see it though. Like,
sure, but I mean, I don't know if we should be taking these guys exactly at face value. There's a lot of interesting things going on behind the scenes, I'm sure, 100%. To say the least. Yeah. But there's some fucking strange things.
I don't know. It'll be another one I try to find online.
Yeah, that's another one that's probably not worth it. Do you want to wrap up last week's Chris Predicts?
Yeah, so let's get into your Chris Predicts. So last week, we did the 2021 Women's Six Nations Rugby games. We did the Italy versus England. England did win that game. Then you predicted the Wales versus Ireland match as well, and Ireland won that.
Yep. 2-0.
And then we did the 2021 Unibet Premier League, which is darts, and we predicted a few matches out of night 5. You said Michael Van Gerwen would win. He ended up tying Nathan Aspinall. So I don't know if that in a bookie's book, that's a loss.
That's a loss. Yeah.
You didn't win that one. Then you predicted the James Wade versus Glenn Durant. You said Glenn would win. Glenn lost.
Yeah, I remember that one. Then we did
Dimitri versus Jose. You chose Dimitri, and Dimitri lost. So for darts, you're 0-3. For the rugby, you're 2-0. And then you predicted the PGA. You said Justin Rose would win.
He lost.
He lost. Hideki Matsuyama did win. And hey, congratulations to that guy. Now,
first Japanese player to do it.
I didn't bring up your baseball. I missed those. So you had Jays would win April 9th and April 10th.
Yeah, they did it in reverse order. I said they would win Saturday. There was like 3 games left. I said they would win Friday, Saturday, lose Sunday. They won.
Yeah.
They lost Friday, won Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay. So you were wrong again.
Of course. Did you really expect anything else? So that said, I was able to get a couple of our bets in.
Okay, nice.
Because we're doing a running tally of whatever I predict. We'll throw $1 on and see what the fuck happens. We started with $10. We now have, drum roll, please, $9.14.
Fuck.
But that said,
last week we were up to like $11.
I know, but we would have been up more if I was able to get the women's rugby games in. I missed them.
Oh,
I didn't know when they were going on. I think they were taking place like shortly after.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. But I'll make sure we write them down because I can't bet too far in advance with these.
I got better.
To bet them as they come.
I got better dates lined up for these ones. Yeah,
perfect. So I was able to bet the Blue Jays twice. They lost 1-1. I was able to bet that James Wade dart match, but it was already ongoing.
Oh, really?
And so he was up, so we won 9 cents off of that fight. Literally, that was it. So
nice.
better than losing 9 cents, obviously, but it would have been better if we got it at the opening odds.
Gotcha.
And I bet that Dimitri Vandenberg at 210, he lost to Jose. They were similar odds, but still, yeah. And then there was also a Maple Leafs game that I bet from a couple predictions ago. So anyway, we're at $9.14. We're basically have broken it.
Can you look at all the previous bets you've made and like?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice. it's easy to go through. So yeah, if you give me the dates and stuff and when they're coming through, then we can definitely like go through, track them. How much did we make? How much did we lose? All that stuff. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like the Blue Jays game, we won 90 cents on. One of them we won 9. Yeah, because we're only betting $1, right?
Yeah, it's whatever. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun to keep track of.
You ready for this week's?
Yeah, hit me with it.
So okay, we're gonna start off. We got women's rugby again. This is the third place playoff, which
in
is
the Six Nations.
In the Six Nations, yep.
Okay.
This is happening Saturday, April 24th.
Perfect. This weekend. All right.
There's 3 games. Yeah, I tried to get them so that they were following after the podcast airs.
Good call. Now you're thinking.
Yeah,
right.
Just took me this long. Yeah, took me long to figure out. Maybe I should get something that's not happening the night after we record this.
Well, I'm glad that you thought of that because I still hadn't thought of that until you just said it now. So,
okay, so we got Italy versus Ireland. That's our first match.
Yeah, Ireland's going to mop the floor with them.
Okay.
Third place game for the Six Nations?
Well, it's the third place playoff, so I guess this is...
Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work because there's 6 teams
Six Nations,
left.
Yeah, but the third place playoff is probably the 2 teams that were in the semis and didn't make it.
I've got 3 matches, though.
Then I'm fucking out of my mind.
Hang on,
confused.
I got to pull this up because maybe I grabbed a different fucking match, too.
No. Don't let me confuse you because this is probably me fucking around.
Let me see. Okay. Wait.
You know what's up?
Yeah, I grabbed an extra one. That's my bad.
Okay, that's fine. Let's keep rolling.
Let me get rid of that.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my original theory. Italian women are too pretty to play rugby. I know that's sexist. I apologize. Yeah. I'm Irish. I know what Irish women look like. They look like they could beat up pretty ladies. Okay. So that's my
Ireland's going to take
process.
Ireland's going to take it. Okay. Our next one is England versus France.
Is this a final or is this also a playoff?
This is also for there's 2 matches for the third place. It could be
okay. All right.
No, this is final match. Final.
So this is the final. England versus France?
Yeah.
I'm going with the English.
You're going England.
I'm going England.
Okay. Sorry, I totally read all these fucking things wrong. Okay. So we got Ireland to beat Italy for third place, and then the final, which is happening right after that on April 24th, and you've got Perfect. England winning that game.
And I will be betting on those, so
Perfect.
We can update those as well.
And then for darts, we've got night 8, which is April 21st. So there's a few nights that'll happen leading up to this, but
sure.
Like I think
we're doing night 8.
Yeah, we're doing night 8, which is April 21st. So we
is
got
this the Premier League again.
Yep.
Okay.
So we got Michael Van Gerwen versus Jose de Souza.
Now I gotta look at these guys.
Okay, that's fine.
So night 8, darts, Premier League matchups. It's a little better for me if I can just
100%. I think
I'm really
darts is somebody you have to
people.
Yeah, I think darts is something you have to see who you're betting.
You gotta see these guys, man.
It's like boxing. You got to see the fighter.
Because I also know what some of these guys look
Unlike
like.
Chris, that doesn't look at the fighters and just goes off of previous records, and then we choose literally the smallest man on earth going up against the
CJ,
biggest
that's all
man.
Conjecture. You can't prove that in a court of law that's what happened. Okay, so Van Gerwen is definitely going to win.
Okay, and then we have. I only chose three. I think there's like 5 games. I only chose 3 out of the 5.
Okay.
Then we got James Wade versus Johnny Clayton.
James Wade won before. Hang on a second. This is night 8. They actually have their thing. Night 8 we're on here?
Yeah. We're predicting night 8.
Gary Anderson. I don't see him here.
James Wade versus Johnny Clayton.
James Wade. All right, he looks like a regular old darts player. Johnny Clayton. Also, what's the odds on it?
I don't
know. All right, give me the Welshman. Give me Johnny Clayton. Fuck it.
Johnny Clayton.
Yeah.
All right. And then our last one is going to be Rob Cross versus Nathan Aspinall.
Nathan Aspinall. I do like that last name, Aspinall.
He played. He played Gerwin for last week's predictions.
Aspinall.
Yeah, in one.
Okay, fuck it. Give me Aspinall then.
Okay.
I'll take Aspinall.
All right. And then I got 2 Leaf games.
Okay.
So we got Thursday, April 22nd versus the Jets. And then Saturday, April 21st or 24th against the Jets.
The Leafs are winning both.
Leafs are winning both.
Yeah. Okay. I think they're going to have their new additions by then as well. So Leafs did really well at the trade deadline.
What happened?
But
I didn't pay attention.
They picked up Nick Foligno from Columbus. They got a goalie from Calgary, David Riddick, who's with the team now because he doesn't have to quarantine. He's not crossing any borders. They picked up Ben Hutton on defense from Anaheim. They picked up Riley Nash, also from Columbus. But he's injured. He's going to be more like a guy you're going to see in the playoffs, like a fourth line depth centerman sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Nick Foligno, Riley Nash, David Riddick, and Ben Hutton. That's the 4.
Wow.
So they added in all the areas they needed to because obviously their goalie is more hurt than we know. Yep. And I don't think they wanted to take a chance that Michael Hutchinson would be starting a playoff game.
Yes, you can't really run that risk going into the playoffs.
No, and they didn't, and they gave up nobody off the active roster. I think they only gave up fucking like a 3rd pick, a fucking 5th. The prices weren't astronomical, and they got some good players in return. So Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup for sure this time, no question.
Well, that's a prediction right there. Leafs.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
Chris predicts.
Plan the parade. Plan the parade, as they say.
There won't be a fucking parade this year. Are you kidding me?
I know. Not the way that we're going in this country. We're going backwards, man.
Yep.
We get this. It's only a matter of time before the government turns off the cable so that we can't watch other countries actually have fans in the stadiums. I'm sure of that. There's another prediction of mine.
I'm just not writing that one down.
No, you don't need to write that down because you'll just be able to see it when you go to click on a Leaf game and it's like all blurred in the stands. It's like, why is it blurred in the stands? And why is that's just we just feed in the noise. That's not a real crowd. Yeah. We don't want to upset the Canadians who can't deal with COVID, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
we're a mess, crazy. Bro. What can we say?
Are. Yeah.
And this is from someone who currently has COVID, so whatever.
Facts.
You know? Yeah, actual facts. I'm glad I got it because I was talking so much shit about it beforehand. Like, not necessarily on this podcast, but sort of privately and amongst friends, like, it's fucking fine. It's not even real, blah, blah, blah. But those were jokes, right? But now, the one thing that I did get out of it, thankfully, is that it's fine for most people. And those are people in their sick. I know my in-laws have it. Well, they gave it to me, bastards. But, it's fucking, it's fine. I'm not going to go that far into it.
Yeah, no. All right, man.
Cool.
Well, I'll see you next week. It's weird not being in person right now.
I know. Well, the good news is that I'm out of quarantine come Friday. So.
Oh, really?
10 days from the time you first felt your symptoms, as long as they don't worsen. That's the rules.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck,
if
I
you
thought it was
test
longer.
No, so it's 2 weeks isolation if you test positive without symptoms. If you had symptoms and tested positive, then it's 10 days from the time of your symptoms, provided they didn't worsen. And like I said, every day I've felt better. This is nothing. I've been way sicker before, many more times in my life.
Yeah.
The only part about this that I dislike is I can't fucking taste anything or smell anything.
And Audrey was saying that can last for fucking a long time.
Yeah, that one
like
I'm
apparently
not.
There are still people now that got it early that still don't have taste or smell.
I'm not particularly enjoying this symptom of it, but it's probably a bit of karma for me talking so much shit about it. But here we are.
You did make fun of Quinny.
Life goes on. Well, he had it coming, and now he gets to make fun of me. So what goes around comes around. You know?
I told Audrey that tonight, and she just fucking laughed. Oh yeah, I remember you guys giving him a hard time. It's like
well, just for a bit of context, to go wonder what the fuck we're talking about. One of the guys I golf with on a weekly basis, he got COVID last year. He had it fairly severely. But this is the unfortunate part about guys, and when they have guy friends, is we just make fun of each other all the fucking time. Talk shit to each other. So there was no sympathy for my friend who got COVID last year. Had COVID. I used to say only the weak get it, blah, 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 blah. You know, so now I've joined the ranks of the weak and it's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm a registered member. I've started paying dues. So it's fine. No big deal.
Oh, shit.
Everyone just remember this is just a lighthearted entertainment show. So
yeah, it's just two friends speaking a lot of nonsense,
having a lot of fun, talking a lot of
just
shit.
Being idiots.
Yeah. So hopefully we can do this in person next week, CJ.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we will.
I won't give you COVID. Well, no, sorry. If the rest of my family's still in quarantine, we won't be. But
yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right.
As always, to everyone, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
Swing by the YouTube channel. Check out
Two Season of Pod on YouTube. 2 Season of Pod on Facebook.
And I believe, CJ, you're releasing everything on the same day now, right? Everything's coming out on the Wednesday.
Yeah. I've kind of got myself into a bit of a routine now, and
perfect.
Again,
just for those around here. If people want to watch it on YouTube or however you listen to it, you can get everything at the exact same time, all released on Wednesdays now. So
so this will Wednesday. That's the new for everything. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever the fuck you find your podcast, it'll be there.
Wherever your podcasts are, it is there. So
all right, buddy.
Thanks again.
Stay well.
See you guys.
Later.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.